we're going to be discussing a recipe that is very popular among Viking Age reenactors, and that is the stew that is made with bacon, apples, and onions. The recipe is based highly on speculation, but it all contains ingredients that would have been available in Scandinavia throughout the Viking Age. Chiefly, one that gets close to my heart is the bacon. It is a source of protein and a source of animal fat that helps you stay warm, especially if you're in these slightly colder months like we are right now in the middle of October. And it was available for use during the Viking Age. To keep this in mind, we have to remember that refrigeration as we know it in modern period didn't come around until about the 1850s. So what we have is methods of preservation of meat are salting and smoking, and that's how bacon comes around. You slaughter an animal, you can't eat the entire animal all at once. So, for example, you take the pig belly and you salt it and you smoke it. And thus, this keeps it preserved. First step to making the stew is placing the bacon in our cauldron. Place it all nice here and put it on the fire. As it is the ingredient that will take the longest to cook, it is the first one that we're going to put in. We're going to make sure that it gets browned nicely before we throw in the rest of the ingredients. So after a little while, you see that there's a lot of the juices from the bacon that are right here at the bottom of our cauldron, and that the bacon has shrunk in size a little bit. So this is just about time to start throwing in our vegetables. Our next ingredient are apples. Because of modern convenience, we are using modern tart apples. In the Viking Age, it was very likely that they used crab apples instead. But again, in reenactment, we very often have to make adjustments such that we can make credible enough representation of the past, but with things that are available to us. In terms of the reasoning for apples for this particular dish is, well, we're currently in harvest season, which is perfect for apples. And so, you can hear that our bacon is sizzling, the juices are getting just ready. We're going to throw in our apples. And one just fell on the fire. And the idea here is to start getting the juices from the bacon and the juices from the apples to start mixing it to create a great harmony of flavor. And this is not the last ingredient that we're going to add. Next are the onions. And our final ingredient are onions. Onions were a staple in European cuisine for a good portion of actually since antiquity and up until the era when the New World, the Americas, were colonized. And it has been found in recipes from simple peasant foods to things that royalty would eat. Onions were relatively easy to preserve, as one could pickle them, or in the case of fresh onions, one could actually just place them in a cool, dry place, and they would stay in good shape for a relatively long period of time. And so, we will add them into our pot. And so, we go ahead and we place our onion in. We do our best to get as much of it not in the fire. But again, the vegetables in here are going to soak up some of the bacon juice, as well as the bacon will take some of the juices from the vegetables. And we are going to have amazing, amazing flavors. And there's a leaf in there. Just let me take that out. All right, and so we want to stir it such that, you know, not a single ingredient is at the bottom, that it all starts blending in. And so we stir it. The idea here is that the apples are to get soft and the onions to turn somewhat translucent. So we're almost done here. you'll see that pieces of apple are browning, and that a lot of the thinner bits of onion have become translucent. They've caramelized, and so this is pretty much ready to be eaten. Let's enjoy. If you enjoyed that video, you can hit subscribe down there. You can also hit the like button to tell us if you really enjoyed this and if this was content that you find was worthwhile. And you can also see links below for ways to support us.